It's me, Mitch Murphy, the Red Pill Rapper on ThoughtCrimes.ca. Welcome back to another episode of the Red Pill Rapper Show, man. Oh boy, it feels good to be here today. Feels good to be free. Feels good to be me. Holy sweet shit, man. Sorry, I'm not supposed to swear. Oh, I'm trying to work on my swearing, but I just keep on caring about my swearing. Now, we got lots of important stuff to talk about today. But first, I gotta tell you about my freaking sponsor, man. Ooh, now our sponsor of the day is, of course, The Resistance. If you want to look cool, if you want to get a nice little hoodie, if you want to advertise that, you're not down with pastors being thrown in jail, if you want to advertise that you're not down with the crushing of small business, well, we live through the biggest redistribution of wealth in all of this realms. I was going to say globe, but the entire history of this whole realm, it's the biggest redistribution of wealth that we have ever freaking seen, man, and it's directly from poor to rich. Is that for our safety? Is that for our safety, man? I don't think that it is, because it's weird. It seems like every crisis that we ever have, billionaires get record profits, and Mr. Bezos gets to buy a brand new $500 million yacht. Oh, with its own yacht attached to it. What the heck, man? Why does he get to do that while the rest of us die while the rest of us starve and the kids are abused and everything's just a big freaking mess, man? If you want to advertise that you're not down with this kind of stuff, buy a Resistance hoodie. Email theresistance144@protonmail.com and you can receive a freaking hoodie. And the Resistance is doing something very special, man. They're doing something very special. So there was, I meant to get a little picture of it, but I don't have one for you here. But the Resistance went on this crazy convoy. They went with your boy Chris Sky. They went with him from Kelowna all the way over the place. And what my friend Sarah did is, on the roof of her truck, she taped a Resistance, what's it called? Tank top. Tank top, double T, tank top. She taped that to the top of her truck. She duct taped a double tank top to the top of her truck, man. She taped it up there and left it there for the whole thing. I don't know if you can see it on my freaking phone or what, but Corona, basically, she put that on she duct taped it on at Duck Lake, just outside of Kelowna, and they were followed by a black helicopter at one point. And Chris Sky was actually in that helicopter. It was just kind of badass watching over the convoy. So they stopped in Salmon Arm, Golden, Radium, Banff, Canmore, Calgary, Medicine Hat, Maple, Creek, and Regina, Winnipeg, Ontario border, Winnipeg again, Winnard, which is in Saskatoon. That's where they picked up Mark Friesen with the PPC. They picked up Don Morrison with the, he's the legend with the fuck Trudeau on the back of his truck. They picked him up outside of Edmonton, drove back to Kamloops, stayed overnight, hit Kelowna, stayed overnight in Hope, and straight on to Vancouver, man. They did all this just to keep Chris Sky safe because he's getting chased down by the Gestapo, man. Now, the reason that tank top is freaking relevant, man, the reason that that's relevant is because they're doing a little raffle. They're doing just like a little freaking raffle, man. And what they're doing is they're raising money for something that I can't actually tell you too much about right now, but I can tell you that I'm deeply involved in it. What's up, Jacob Leahy? I'm deeply involved in a trip with some people that may or may not involve a tour bus. I can't tell you much more, top secret information, but they're raffling this thing off. So it's like by donation. What you got to do is at the next rally, like for example at Stewart Park at noon tomorrow, Saturday, go there, go up to the Resistance thing and see if you want to go in to win this special historic freaking tank top, man. This tank top is a piece of history, and what the money is going to is a protective convoy for an alleged tour bus that I might be involved with. I can't tell you anymore because you never know who's listening, you know what I mean? Colin Bassran, I'm looking at you. I know you like my show. I don't want to give you too much info because Colin Bassran is actually he's an in-the-closet Red Pill Rapper Show fan, man. He doesn't want anybody to know. But yeah, go up to the Resistance tent and ask Sarah about that info at the rally. And yeah, so we've got some very important things to go over today, but I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about something that happened to me today. So I went into a grocery store in my hometown, and I've never actually had any like real issues in this place. As far as I could tell, they were pretty face friendly. So, but recently an article came out from I'm not going to call the mainstream media any names, but I am going to tell you that in Canada, Section 83.01 of the Criminal Code defines terrorism as an act committed in whole or in part for a political, religious, or ideological purpose, objective or cause with the intention of intimidating the public. So kind of like when the mainstream media covers day after day after day that there's Flow Academy gym in Kelowna that is not mandating masks. When they cover that day in and day out to make sure that the police get lots of complaints from normies in the public that can't handle people that live differently than them, what they're doing is they're trying to encourage fear. And they're trying to encourage terror in the general public for a political gain because they want to close down these small businesses. So I'm not here to call the mainstream media any names, but my point is that if you want to create a shortage, step one is tell people that there's a shortage. That's the first thing that you do. And it's like the same idea where they put out this article where in my hometown they go, oh, this little town is a hot spot. They're a hot hippity hot spot. You know what I mean? They're a red zone. They're so scary. It's so bad. These people must be hugging their families or something. They got freaking virus cases up through the roof. We're not going to tell you what the cycle count is on the PCR rate. We're just going to tell you that there's cases. We're just going to tell you that there's a bunch of cases in this town. They freak everybody out. They strike terror because they start to notice in certain towns like this, there's like more and more people are living free. More and more people are not letting fear dictate their every move and everything that they wear on their head. You know what I mean? So they'll put out an article like this and they'll be like, oh, we got a hotspot situation. And so in my town, ever since that article came out, people have been a lot more mean to your boy Redpill. You know what I mean? They've been a little bit rude. And so I went into this grocery store that has otherwise been fine. And I hear this, and somebody comes over. She's got the tongs with this like black diaper in it. You know what I mean? The tongs, like, oh, can't touch it. It's biohazard, even though everybody's throwing them all over the ground everywhere they go. Corona. She goes, can I get you to put this thing on? And in her defense, she was actually super nice. She was like a very nice person. And so I just matched her vibe. I was like, this is okay. We'll have a conversation. I go, no, I don't wear those things. She goes, oh, are you medically exempt? Which is nice. She knows about medical exemptions. She goes, are you medical exempt? I go, yeah, I am. And she goes, well, can I see your card? And I go, what card are you talking about? And she goes, well, we've been told that after you get a medical exemption, that you get a card to prove that you're medically exempt. And in the back of my head, I'm going, my friends make those cards. I don't know who, so I say out loud, I go, who told you that you get a card when you get a medical exemption? And she goes, Interior Health. And so in the back of my head, I'm like, okay, I know that's not true. I know that's not true because I know who makes the cards. And so I go, well, are you aware of what the Human Rights Commissioner said? And just so you guys know, I'm not telling you this story just to be like, it's to give you an example of how I got out of an issue and how maybe you can get out of an issue too. So I go, are you aware of what the Human Rights Commissioner of what British Columbia said? Are you aware of what he said about this conversation that we're having right now? She goes, no. I go, okay. Human Rights Commissioner of British Columbia said that mask exemptions exist. And if somebody claims a mask exemption, you should take them at their word. And so I said, that's what the Human Rights Commissioner of British Columbia said. And so you are a civilian. You're like a normal person that is asking me for my private medical information. And I wouldn't ask you for your private medical information. And so I would prefer if you didn't ask me for my private medical information. She goes, okay. And I was kind of taken aback. I'm like, is that okay? And she goes, that's okay. Yeah. And then left me alone. And it was all good. It was okay. So the reason I tell you that story is because you can converse your way through these things. Some people like to go in, crap their pants, and freak out and yell and kick and scream because it is unfair. It's like, it's ridiculous for somebody to ask you your medical information. I wouldn't go up to somebody in a store and be like, excuse me, ma'am, when's the last time you got a pap smear? Can you tell me the last time that you got a pap smear? Do you have a note telling me the last time you got a pap smear? I'm a little concerned about my safety here, lady. You know what I mean? That's not how this works. That's not how this freaking works. So, like, stop pretending that you get to do this kind of stuff. Stop pretending that you get to get a doctor's note just because somebody's got their face out. You know what I mean? Now, I got to get a little bit caffeinated because we got a lot to go over today. Corona. So, as you guys know, there's been a lot of protesting going on. Here's an example of a fringe group, as Colin Bassaran would put it.
And he's doing light work, got his team and they're running full steam on the deco board. Rules for thee, but I guess they're not for me, because my name is Mitch Murphy. I will never cancel me, you will never tread on me, you will never tread
That's
on
Chris
me.
Carew in the background there.
You stand for pharmacy, you stand for tyranny, you stand for Stanford elitist dicks. Like, I will never take that Microsoft break.
I'm gonna fast forward a bit here.
Come on, get your Redpill. I got too many.
Look at all these people having fun, man. Look at all these fun. See this crowd? You see that crowd? This was for our Chris Sky event. Okay. Now, the reason I show you that video is not to flex, it's to show you, like, that's at least 1,000 people, you know what I mean? A lot of folks will get crazy, be like, we're 2,000 people there, and like, maybe, but I feel like a conservative estimate for that event was like 1,000. And so, the reason I show you that is to be like, look, you're not alone. If you're looking around, you're being like, wow, this feels a lot like the history books that I read about communist takeovers, you know what I mean? And like, people have to identify their like private medical information on their sleeve. It's like a gold patch, you know what I mean? So you're not alone. If you feel like this, you're not alone. A lot of people feel like this. Corona. So there's a ton of us. Now, here's what the media has been saying about me and my friends, man. Look at this. Look at this stuff. It's a big mess.
Those people at those anti-mask protests, let's not kid ourselves. They're not people who need to eat. They are people who are marching in thinly veiled white nationalist, supremacist, anti-government protests, and they don't deserve that kind of sympathy.
Okay, that is the mayor of Calgary. And like, man, the dehumanizing language that he uses there is so sick. These aren't people that need to eat. Because, like, Michelle Gardner, and I don't even want to show her thing because she's, like, the biggest shill of all. I don't know what she's conserving. She's all like, you need more restrictions. They do more restrictions. She's like, you need less restrictions. You know what I mean? She was all for the mandatory quarantine hotels until women started getting raped in them. And then she started saying that they got to shut it down. You know what I mean? These liberals do their thing. The conservatives are a mess. Nobody vote conservative. Please, for the love of all that is holy and good, do not vote conservative. These people hate you. They have signed on to the Queen's agenda, and they have signed on to the World Economic Forum. That's why they say things like build back better, you know what I mean? If you ever see the phrase build back better, that is directly from the Global Economic Forum, and it is right in line with Agenda 2030 and Agenda 21. If you don't know what those are, I highly recommend that you look it up, alright? I'm not making this stuff up. But I want to, like, let's watch that again. And also, is it just me, or are all these people a little slanty-eyed? Are they starting to get their jabs or something? They're like everybody's like, half their face is all like droopy. I don't know what's going on. I don't mean to be rude. I'm just saying, are these people maybe getting some cerebral palsy from some experimental medical treatments that they've been under?
Contempt for the law.
Those people at those anti-mask protests, let's not kid ourselves. They're not people who need to eat.
What does that mean? What does that mean? You literally crushed tens of thousands of businesses. They're all going under, and there's a bunch more that are going to go under. Okay? So you took away these people's... And look at him smiling, too. Because he's got a pension. He's got to pay. In fact, he probably got a pay raise this year. Most of our politicians did. Like, he's smiling. He's like, these people don't need to eat. What does that mean? What are you talking about? This guy's such a scumbag. How do you have thousands of people protesting you, and you're like laughing? You know what I mean? Why aren't you there? Why aren't you talking to these people? Do you think that of all these crowds, not one of us has one valid argument? Do you think that when we get 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, or in Montreal, like 250 to 300,000, do you think that when we get this many people together that not one of us has one thing to say that's relevant or true? Do you think that we deserve to be just fully dismissed? Is that what you think? This is a mess, man. These people are out of control.
They are people who are marching in thinly veiled white nationalist, supremacist, anti-government protests.
Okay, so there's a lot to, and I like where I froze that frame. that's that Pfizer face that he's got going on. He's like, I got my job this week, which missed my right eye. It's too bad I don't have that anymore. So see how he lumps together the he's like white nationalist, racist, neo-Nazi, anti-government all together now. You know what I mean? Like, that's just one thing. It's like, you don't, like, can I be anti-government but not any of those other things, or are those all just the same thing? How does this work? Nasheed Tarari, tell me all about it, brother. But yeah, so it's so funny because I keep thinking about, like, why are they so gung-ho on this, like, white nationalist thing? And I get it with me because I'm blonde hair, blue eyes. They hate people like me. Ooh, I'm not allowed to. I'm supposed to be ashamed and sorry, you know what I mean, for something that my great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather didn't do because he was in Ireland living through the potato famine, all right? Sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry for something that somebody else who looked like me did 200 years ago in a different country, all right? Corona. I'm spiraling again. Everybody relax. So, why do they hammer on this like white nationalist thing? We've got this one dipshit in Kelowna that's at the counter protester side, and he used to hold up a sign that said like white supremacy is not welcome. Not well, we hate it. It's so funny. Which that same guy, I walked past him after one of my sets, and he got his diaper on, he goes, "You suck and your music sucks." And I was just like, I'm going off track, but I just said to him, I was like, "Look, man, I don't hate you. I hope you find peace one day. I'm sorry for whatever happened to you." But why do they hammer home on this like white nationalist thing? Why do they hammer home on this racist thing? Because if you come there, we've got Orientals, we've got blacks, we've got like all types of different colors and sizes, you know what I mean? We got all types of people. Because believe it or not, small business owners are not just white people. You know what I mean? Like, small business owners that believe that they should be able to run their business and not just jam everybody into Costco. They're all colors. They're all shapes and sizes. They're all colors. It's okay. We love everybody. You know what I mean? We're here for the people. You know who I kind of hate is the media and the politicians for covering things this way. But why do they hammer home on this white nationalist thing? I was thinking about it. It's because what unifies the people in these movements? You know what I mean? In these so-called anti-government movements, in these anti-lockdown movements, in these what I would call pro-freedom. I would refer to us as freedom rally people, freedom movement people, pro-freedom. We like the freedom, baby. Oh, true north, strong and free. You guys remember that one? What unites us is that generally, I can't speak for everybody, but I feel like 99% of people would agree with this. We would all say that there is a they. There is a they that is involved in this, like, global conspiracy. Allegedly. I'm not here to make any claims. I'm just saying that that's what generally we all believe, is that there is a group of NGOs, which stands for non-government organizations. There's a group of NGOs, and there's a small group of elite people that have the majority of the money and the majority of the power, and that they work in collaboration with the government to write the laws in such a way that benefits them and hurts us, so that they can take our money and keep it for themselves. You know what I mean? It's the oldest thing in the book. Kind of like in, you know, monarchy. You guys remember that one? But Corona. What unites us is that we all believe that there is, in fact, a they. There's a they that is doing this. You know what I mean? And so I think that they feel so comfortable calling us racist white nationalists is because whenever you have this big of a movement that all agrees that there's a they, there's a certain number of people that have, in my opinion, that's just my opinion, that have gone astray in identifying the they. You know what I mean? And what I'm about to say is super edgy, very controversial, but if you look into it, it's not true, and I'm not here to say it's a bad thing either. It's just that I think the reason they feel pretty comfortable calling us white nationalists is because when you have a movement this big, full of people that believe that there's a they, there'll be a certain number of people that believe that the they has to do with a certain bloodline of people that likes to wear very little hats, okay? And again, I'm not here to make any claims, I'm not here to say anything crazy, but when you look into media corporations, for example, the Big Six, News Corp, GBS, Viacom, Time Warner, GE, Disney, a lot of these people, and I'm not trying to be rude when I use nicknames like this, I'm trying to avoid the nasty algorithm, okay? So keep that in mind, I'm not trying to be rude, I'm not trying to be nasty, but if you look at the Big Six, the heads of these companies generally wear little hats, okay? And so you can find that out, and not all of them, but a lot of them. And same with banks and that kind of stuff, and if you look at that, you can come to a certain conclusions, okay? You can decide, oh, it must be their bloodline. That's what, like, a lot of these leftists would say, you know what I mean? Because that's what they say, like, oh, this country was built by white men for white men, you know what I mean? That's what they say. They think it has to do with the bloodline, and they think that because of my bloodline, because I'm a white person, that I have inherent privilege, that I have inherent benefits because of my bloodline. I say, to the leftists, I say that's nonsense. And so to the people that identify the they, being people with small hats, I would tell those people, you're looking at it the wrong way. You're looking at it through the lens of a bloodline. And that's the wrong way of looking at it. Just because these people all come from like a certain tribe or something like that does not mean that the whole tribe is to blame. You know what I mean? Like, that's not how this works. And so that's what I would say to those people. And most people in these movements would agree with me. But I'm just saying there's like speckled throughout, there's certain people that have identified that they as this group, this tribe, you know what I mean? And so the media, their job is to put forward the agenda of the state. You know what I mean? And the agenda of the state is that our entire healthy population of people needs to be masked, isolated, and sanitized. You know what I mean? And the best way to do that is make everybody afraid and convince them that they're going to get their freedom back the more they mask, the more they isolate, the more they sanitize, the more you comply, the more you shut your business down, the sooner we'll all go back to normal. And the sooner we'll all be free. The harder you comply, the sooner that we'll be free. And so that's the narrative that they're pushing. And the way that they do it is by scaring everybody. Again, I'm not here to make any claims, but they are actually, in whole or in part, for a political game, they are intimidating the public, okay? That's why they show you these big scary graphs. They never talk about the recovery rate. They never talk about treatments. They only talk about the cases and the deaths. That's all they ever talk about. And they also expand on the deaths as much as they can. Make them seem as big and spooky and scary as possible. So, sorry guys, just got to get a little caffeinated here today. And so the media, what they're able to do is they're able to pick and pull, and they're able to find these people that have identified the they as those people that I just went over. You know what I mean? They're able to pick those people out and then claim that that is what the whole movement is. That's what the whole thing is. That's what everybody believes. That's why they're all there. And that's not why we're all there. You know what I mean? But it's just like people come to certain conclusions and you shouldn't hate them. You know what I mean? You shouldn't hate anybody. And like I need forgiveness for the hatred that I hold for the media and for some of these politicians. Like I'm working on it. I'm trying not to like be so buttered all the time, but I really, when I see this guy out there deserting his people while small business is crushed, while children are abused, while women are stuck isolated in their house with their abusive boyfriends and husband, like this is a mess, man. People are hurting. And look at like the smug smile on this scumbag's face, man.
And they don't deserve that kind of sympathy.
After
they don't deserve that kind of
11-year term, Nenshi has announced he won't be running for his mayoral seat again. So we asked him
He's not going to run for his mayoral seat? You know what? I think he should run just in general. Look at this guy. Look at this guy that gets to give health mandates to his whole city of Calgary. Look at this guy, man. How about instead of running for mayor, you just run. You just go for a run. You obviously need it, dude. But you know what I mean? Like, why is this guy and Doug Ford in a position to mandate what I do for my health? That's not how this is supposed to work, man. This guy's a mess. I hope he got his AstraZeneca, too. I'm not here to make any claims, but I just want him to be safe. You know what I mean? And I've been told that the AstraZeneca is completely safe and effective.
Next.
I have no idea. I know that when I'm finished this job in about 6 months, I have a long to-do list, but when I'm finished in about 6 months, I will find a way to serve. That's in my blood, but probably outside of elected office for now.
You can catch the full interview with Mayor Nenshi.
Is it just me, or has everybody got that Pfizer face going on? What is this all about?
As well as a wide-ranging conversation with...
Oh, that's so rude. I should make that joke. I'm sorry, man. Sometimes I forget how many people I'm talking to when I... start talking like that.
Intergovernmental Affairs Minister Dominic LeBlanc on Alberta military misconduct.
It is a little strange, though, isn't it? Isn't it a little bit strange that, like, everybody, like Michelle Rumpel, that mayor, that Nasheed, whatever, from Calgary, and then that reporter, they all have that Pfizer face going on. I'm not here to make any claims. I'm just saying it's a little strange. So here's what Nenshi, sorry, I've been saying his name wrong. I'm not trying to be offensive. I just couldn't remember his name. Nenshi, this is what he stands for. This is on his Instagram page. Mandatory masks for grades 4 to 12. Okay? Now, I don't care what side you're on. You can't mandate masks on kids that young. Look at that little child, man. Look at that. Do you think that in the okay, I just need to, like, not spiral. So, one of the reasons that children that are in grades 4 to 12 shouldn't smoke cigarettes is because the oxygen going into their brain is vital because their brain is developing. So I don't think this is like a controversial edgy take. Masks restrict breathing, okay? And so maybe if you put this filter over your head, and a lot of these kids are wearing these like thick cloth masks. Some parents are absolute psychopaths and they double mask them, you know what I mean? Corona. I don't think that's good for a developing brain. Call me crazy. Call me bad man Redpill. I'm just saying, I don't think that's particularly good for their brain. You know what I mean? Like, sorry if that hurts your feelings. That's just what I'm trying to say. So, how about Nenshi, instead of running for mayor again, you just go for a run in general. Maybe that's the better move. And stop mandating diaper face on children, okay? Like, how about give the child a choice? What if the child has asthma? What if, I can't believe I have to say this stuff anymore. Nenshi, just go for a run in general. Now, here's another one from our pal, my friend allegedly Suzanne. This is her BFF, Dougie Ford, okay? Kelowna. Now, I think I caught something big on this one. I'm looking forward to talking about this one with you guys. And just so you know, if you're on YouTube, I'm looking at you in the chat. If you want to have a little chitty chat with Badman Redpill, just hit me up in the chatter box. We'll have a little chit chat. You know what I'm saying?
I talk to my buddies. I know what happens. You know, they pick up another buddy, 2 or 3. They go out, go golfing, and there's nothing wrong with golfing. The problem is the mobility. Then after golf, they go back. They have a few pops. That's the problem. So that's the issue. And what we need, we're just asking people. I understand. Believe me, the weather's nice. Everyone wants to get out. You know, I'd love to get out golfing. I'm a terrible golfer, but I'd love to get out golfing. And right now, you know, the ICUs are still at risk. I think yesterday's number was 805, and that's not good. As much as we're seeing a decline, which is good, everyone, you know, is moving forward. We're getting the vaccines into people's arms, but we just can't risk it. Just hang in there we aren't asking a lot. Just a couple more weeks, and we'll do everything we can to get things back to normal.
Oh, just 14 more years to flatten the curve. We're not asking for much. You believe this guy, man? It's like, is anybody falling for this anymore? I don't understand. Okay, but I wanted to go over that, all right? Because they keep saying, trust the science, follow the science, right? I effing love science. That's what they keep saying. You know what I mean? They're saying all of this is based on science. If you would just follow the science, we'd get our Charter of Rights and Freedoms back. You know what I mean? But this one, what he's saying, okay? I want to be really make sure that I lay this out correctly. He's not saying, what he's saying is that golf doesn't spread corona. Corona does not hang around the golf course. You know what I mean? Corona hates golf. It's a white man's sport. It doesn't like it. So there's no corona at the golf course. Golfing is fine, okay? But he has closed down the golf courses. Not because there's science behind the golf course closing, but because because Doug Ford knows that after golf, people tend to get their buddies and go grab a beer after golf, okay? And so what he's saying is that he needs the people in a general submissive state. He's pushing for this idea that the general public has to just be jammed into submission in general. You need to not do anything, because if you do anything, something might happen. Do you see where I'm going with this? Like, this is straight up mind control. He's saying that, like, there's no science behind golf spreading corona, but I need you to not do anything, because if you do anything, you might do something else. You know what I mean? Do you guys get it yet? This is like straight up mind control. That's why they push the outdoor diaper face. That's why they push these things, is because they just want a general fear. They just want a general, fear state for us all to be in so that we don't do anything. You know what I mean? And so it's not based on science. It's all about control. That's why we say that, because it's not based on science. The diaper head from the door to your table when you're in a restaurant is not science, okay? None of this is science. They just want a general submissive population so that we stop doing anything and so that we'll stop spreading this cooties outbreak. You know what I mean? And again, in Canada, Section 83.01 of the Criminal Code defines terrorism as an act committed in whole or in part for a political purpose, objective, or cause with the intention of intimidating the public with regard to its safety. Okay? That is such an important definition, because they are just trying to scare you into submission, and this is like a blatant admission of that. This is in your face, man. Listen to this again.
I talk to my buddies. I know what happens. You know, they pick up another buddy, 2 or 3. They go out, go golfing, and there's nothing wrong with golfing. The problem is the mobility. Then after golf, they go back. They have a few pops.
The problem is the mobility. Do you get it yet? He's not talking about moving around the golf course, because I know for a fact that this guy is not in good enough shape to walk around the golf course. This guy gets a little buggy. You know what I mean? With I'm not going to go there. Corona, the mobility. So he's saying you're mobile, you're out doing things, and that's his problem. His problem is the mobility. Listen to this again, man. I'm going to rewind it.
They go out, go golfing, and there's nothing wrong with golfing. The problem is the mobility. Then after golf, they go back, they have a few pops. That's the problem. So that's the issue. And what we need, we're just asking people. I understand, believe me, the weather's nice. Everyone wants to get out. You know, I'd love to get out golfing. I'm a terrible golfer, but I'd love to get out golfing. And right now, you know, the ICUs are still at risk.
So he's saying you're not allowed as a response, and this is not my take, but I'm just like trying to appeal to the normie audience here. If you believe in Corona, and you believe that it's like enemy number one, we got to do everything to fight it. But let's say your mental health has fallen off a cliff in the last year, and all you want to do is go golfing, you know what I mean? And so you believe that as an individual, you have the power to go golfing and not go out for beers after with your boys, you know what I mean? With Doug Ford and the boys. Like, let's say that you believe that you are safe enough to go golfing and then not go do this stuff after. Nope. Not you, mister. You don't get to make that decision for your health because Doug Ford made that decision for you. That's this whole daddy, me, govern me mentality. It's so bad, man. It's so toxic.
Yesterday's number was 805, and that's not good. As much as we're seeing a decline, which is good, everyone, you know, is moving forward. We're getting the vaccines into people's arms, but we just can't risk it. Just hang in there we aren't asking a lot. Just a couple more weeks.
You guys hear that? He's lying. He's lying. They've lied the whole time. They've been saying 2 weeks for a year and a half, and you people are still listening? You're still listening, okay? And so, like, when me and my friends say this is never going to end, I think it's kind of reasonable because they have literally said 2 weeks for like a year and a half, man. What are you doing? Why are you still listening? It's been a year and a half.
And we'll do everything we can to get things back to normal.
This is insane. I cannot believe people are still listening to these dipshit people, man. What a god-awful mess. Now, I got one more for you people. You ready?
Sure, get into the conversation around lockdowns and anti-lockdown protests. You know, they continue to happening across Canada. We saw a pretty major example, a rodeo in Alberta recently. It seems like...
I would like to shout out that No More Lockdowns rodeo in Alberta. That's badass, man. And that's the message I'm trying to spread far and wide. Whatever you want to do, call it a protest. You know what I mean? Whatever you want to do that's illegal, that's what... We did a wedding at church. We do a church protest every Sunday at Kerry Park at 11 a.m. We did a wedding. These really nice people had just got saved. They wanted to get right with God. They got married at church protest. How badass is that? You can have a wedding with as many people as you want. It's just got to be a protest.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has had enough. Here's what he had to say this week.
These protests are supposed to be about getting back to normal, but by spreading the virus, they do just the opposite.
Citation needed, bitch. Where's the paper? Where's the science? I thought we were following the science here, man. What an absolute mess. Listen to this dipshit again. Sorry, I'm swearing. I'm upset.
They continue to happening across Canada. We saw a pretty major example, a rodeo in Alberta recently. It seems like Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has had enough. Here's what he had to say this week.
These protests are supposed to be about getting back to normal, but by spreading the virus, they do just the opposite and prolong lockdowns.
Where is the evidence that we're spreading the virus? Okay, like I saw no spike for the BLM protests. Okay, I saw no spike. Okay, and with us, where like are you seriously trying to tell me that every single person at our rallies, that we're full of healthy people, everybody's healthy and feeling good? Are you trying to tell me that every single one of us is like an asymptomatic carrier? Because I seem to remember a study of 10 million that came out of Wuhan that said they found out of 10 million people, 300 people that were asymptomatic that were able to spread it. Like, I don't know where this is. I don't get it. I don't understand why he's so confident saying that we're spreading this virus around, because we're all healthy. We're all healthy. Everybody's feeling good. Not one person's sick. Throughout the whole country, everybody at these rallies is healthy.
So follow public health advice, but don't do it for me or for any politician. Do it for someone in your life that you care about. Do it because you respect your fellow Canadians.
Thanks for the puppy dog eyes, Trudy. Oh, do it for somebody you love. Don't do it for me. I can't believe these fucking people. Oh, I can't believe it. Corona. He's going, Like, all they want is for you to blame us. They just want you to blame us. But they have been saying 2 weeks for a year and a half, man. They've been saying 2 weeks for a year and a half. Do you people really think that this time they mean it? This time it'll be 2 more weeks. You know what I mean? How about you just let us take care of ourselves? How about instead of canceling golf because you think we might get beer afterwards, you just let us make our own decisions instead of being the daddy state that you are? This is so bad, man.
So, Nick, who do you think that message was actually for?
And this also, like, this gives them this thing where they're like, we're just going to keep this going as long as we can. We're just going to keep locking down. We're going to keep pushing funneling money into these multinational corporations, and we'll just keep blaming it on the people that are trying to do something about it. You know what I mean? So what we need is we need enough people to stand up that they don't get to do this anymore.
Well, I think that message would be for the minority of Canadians who are kind of vaccine hesitant.
Okay, there's that term, vaccine hesitant. There's that term. Okay, what they have done is they have supplied us with this problem that I don't actually see, but I don't work in the ICU, so maybe I'm just wrong, okay? Maybe there is a problem. So they've sold us on the problem. My point is that I don't see the problem. What I see is masks on the face, dots on the floor, and like really angry people everywhere I go. Like, that's what I see. You know what I'm saying? They've given us this problem. They're like, oh, we've got this solution. You can take this jab and you still get to wear that mask and you still don't get to hug your family. But if you don't want to do it, then you're participating in vacation hesitancy. Like, what is this thing? I just declined your product, Big Pharma. Sorry, I've just looked into the criminal history of Pfizer and Moderna and Johnson & Johnson, and I've looked at the health risks of a lot of these jabs, like AstraZeneca, because there are risks, okay? Call me crazy, but there are. You look at their paperwork that these companies have put out. There are risks, okay? And so I get to decide whether or not it's worth the risk or not for me, because I get to look at the statistics. I get to look at and say, okay, I'm in a category, because I'm in a category of people that is like 99.998% survival rate, okay? That's like the recovery rate for people like me. You know what I mean? For this Cooties 19. And so this jab doesn't stop me from getting and spreading this virus, okay? This is like normie town right now. This isn't even necessarily my beliefs, but this is what they're telling us, okay? So if I get this jab, I can still get it and spread it. That's why, like, we're seeing outbreaks in all these old folks' homes, right? You know what I mean? Because if you get the jab, you can still get it, still spread it, but it just turns it into the flu, allegedly, because it was way worse than the flu before. Weird. So you can still get it, still spread it, but it makes it way easier on you, okay? Why would I get it? Why would I get it? Because, like, look at this, okay? Look at this. I got a few articles to show you. This is Castanet in Kelowna. Interior Health says vacations are protecting care home residents despite deaths. The outbreak, which was declared on April 28th, this is at a long-term care home in Kelowna. The outbreak, which was declared on April 28th, now involves 23 residents and 10 staff members. 3 have died, but shoot, what's that number? 3 have died, but I think that's 34. Oh, but Interior Health said other health issues were to blame for the deaths as well. Isn't that hilarious? You can have cancer, leukemia, pneumonia, and bronchitis and die of cooties, and your death certificate will just say cooties, okay? It'll just say cooties 19. But if you're, like, jabbing these people, all of a sudden, like, comorbidities exist. Oh, all right, but now I've got one other one to show you here. Another good old Castanet. Preliminary results of an ongoing study in the United Kingdom suggests alternating the AstraZeneca and Pfizer BioNTech vaccines causes more frequent mild to moderate symptoms. Okay, that's why I say if you get the jab, you can still get it and spread it, but it'll be like the flu. Because it was nothing like the flu before. Do you get it yet? But there are no other safety concerns from mixing those vaccines. So you get these jabs, it just turns it into the flu magically. Isn't that great? Isn't that just like so nice? Oh my gosh, finally it's just the flu. Can I say it's just the flu now? Am I allowed, or are people still gonna like yell at me on my Facebook page? But in these long-term care homes, they're all jabbed. They're all jabbed, okay? Like, so they're saying that these jabs are turning it into the flu. I'm just like, I can't believe people don't see it. I cannot believe people still don't see it. I'm just like spiraling over this because it's so obvious. So why would I get the jab? I can still get it and spread it. There's health risks to getting the jab, and it's already the flu for me. If I get it, it's just the flu, okay? Like, and they're saying, oh, the variants are putting more young people in the hospital, but like, how many? Can you tell me how many, or will you lose your job? Because you're not allowed to tell me. I'm talking to you, nurses.
But the one thing that we have to remember is that everyone wants to put this pandemic behind them. Everyone wants to get back to some sort of normalcy. It's just that we have to have the realization that the only way that we can get back to that is if as many individuals as possible get vaccinated, and that we continue to follow the rules. I don't think, Rachel, that we're going to see,
just comply harder. Just comply harder, and then you'll get your charter back.
A big boom in vaccination, everything get back to normal. I think realistically, we'll have to continue to be very careful, wash our hands, wear face coverings, and be careful. To your point about the buffet, I don't know. I don't think it's good to be in the buffet business right now for the foreseeable future. But
look at how he laughs. Look at how he laughs. People have put their entire life savings into these businesses, buffets and stuff like that. And he's like, oh, I'm sure glad that I work for fucking CTV News and I'm gonna shill for the globalists. I'm sure glad I didn't put my whole life savings into a buffet restaurant. Isn't that so funny? These people are such scumbags, man. They don't care. They don't care if you put your whole life savings into this buffet that you love and you've run it for 10 years in a town that you love and you contribute to the community. They don't care. They're going to laugh at you while your business crumbles and you're going to still comply. You're still going to diaper up. You're going to shut down. You're going to do your part and you're going to go bankrupt while Jeff Bezos gets record profits.
So I think that's targeted at everyone, including people that are following the rules and the minority of people that are just, it grates them the wrong way when they're told by the government to do this or to do that.
Yeah, and I think kind of flipping the idea of you want the restrictions to end, you don't think things should be closed, you want businesses to reopen, but the longer that COVID is spreading, the longer it's going to take for that to happen. So
only because of the mandates. Only because of the mandates. That's the only reason. And it's so funny. They're like, just comply, just get jabbed, just do this stuff so that we can all go back to normal. But what happened to freedom of choice? What happened to my body, my choice, man? What happened to this whole thing that they were screeching outside of the White House? You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, I looked at the numbers and I have concluded that I would rather get corona than get this jab. Am I not allowed to come to that conclusion without crumbling small businesses around me? Stop putting it on me. Stop saying it, and it's collective, right? When I say me, I mean everybody else who has come to the same conclusion. Stop blaming me because I don't want to buy your product. I don't want to buy your product, okay? I'm not anti-vacation. I'm not anti-diaper. You have offered this product to me and I have declined it. I put on a cape, okay? I'm pro-cape. I love my cape. I'm walking around. I wish everybody would wear a cape. I look around. Nobody else is wearing a cape. Let me tell you a secret. They're not anti-cape. They are not anti-cape. They just chose not to wear a cape. I might berate them in a store and be like, oh my gosh, don't you know how much braver we'd all be if we all wore capes? I can't believe you're such anti-cape maniacs, man. What's with this cape hesitancy? They'd be like, dude, just like, what? You wear it. It's okay. That they would say to Redpill, just wear your cape. I don't have to wear a cape. But I think that's about everything that we had to go over. But I don't know, man. I really want to hammer this point home. Interior Health says vacations are protecting care home residents despite deaths. Okay? How many of your Grammys died in isolation because you did not visit them? You know what I mean? How many? All right? And they're like, oh, just wait. You can go visit them after they get jabbed. You know what I mean? And now here we are, and these like supposedly safe vacations, people are dropping like flies everywhere that they're getting jabbed, okay? I'm not here to make any claims, and before I say too much more, it's just, I don't know how people don't see through this. The outbreak, which was declared on April 28th, now involves 23 residents and 10 staff members. 3 have died, but Interior Health said other health issues were to blame for the deaths as well. I can't believe people don't see it. I don't even know what to say anymore. I'm just going to go live in the woods. I love you guys. Be brave, live free, take your vitamin D, and hug your family.